These critical essays, okay, it analyzed two texts. The author of the essay analyzed two other people's work. One is Judy's I Want a Wife. Okay. Another one is Liberation of a Woman by Laurel. Right? That is the first people's article, I Want a Wife. This is another people's work, Liberation of a Woman. So the author of the essay, he picked up two texts and then read them and then summarized some main points of both and then analyzed the two texts and then write this critical essay. Okay. As you have seen here, because this video we just wanted to focusing on thesis, so I will not talk more. As you have seen, I marked other things here. You could get it in next video, alright? So let's have a look here. Let's read the thesis. I Want a Wife by Judy is more convincing to its intended audience than Liberation of a Woman because it is humorous. Its language is accessible to the reader, and the author has authority as she relates to her personal experience as a wife and mother. Firstly, could you please tell me that how long is this thesis? Let's return back. It's about 3 lines, right? So for any of your short paper, which is 4 pages or less, you should have 3 to 4 lines. Summary. Yes, thesis. It is actually a summary of your whole paper. It's logic. We're seeing this way. So we solved this issue, right? It is one sentence. It's about 3 to 4 lines, and it's actually a summary. Why it's a summary? Let us go on reading. As you read here, oh my goodness. Did you notice I put, I mark 1, 2, 3 in the thesis? And I copy and paste these 1, 2, 3 points, or we say first, second, and third point out to here. So, humorous is a point 1, right? Languages is accessible is a point 2, right? What about authority? This is a point 3, or we say third point, right? So these 3, we could say word, we could say short phrase is a point. Okay, let's back to here. Is that points? Right. It is several points. Oh, sorry. It could be short phrase, or it could be one word, right? Is this short phrase? Yes. Is this one word? Yes, it is, right? That is what they are points. There are 3 points, right? You could have like 3, 4, 5, or whatever points to make up your thesis. I just talking this essay, it's about 3 points, correct? As we read here, humorous, language is accessible, or author has authority. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, this is also short phrase. Did you notice they are the author's critical thinking of the whole paper, right? Let's turn back to this part. So, your points of your thesis, or we say your points of your one sentence summary, could be your reasons. It also could be your logic. It could be your thinking, even if your analysis. I will try to explain to you these three, okay, for the research papers summary, but not now. In this essay, it's the reason, the author's reason that why, yeah, this author did a much better job than another author. Okay, so we solved these two parts. Let's go on reading. Thesis, it is after you making several points, you need to connect your points together to cook your thesis. As you read here, please read the thesis carefully. Then you could know that how did the author of the essay connect his 3 points together and in order. What is in order?
As you have noticed here, definitely the topic sentence is the first sentence of the body paragraph. The writer used the whole body paragraph, start from here, she uses until the end, be serious, or as serious, to explain his talking here. Humor is an important tool a writer should use to get and keep the reader's attention. That is the writer's argument, or we say, the writer's judgment of Judy's work. How did Judy successfully apply to humor in Judy's essay, right? Did you notice? The topic sentence, it is extended and a paraphrase explanation of the point 1 of the thesis, right? As you have seen, the whole main body paragraph, how many times did the writer mention humor or humorous? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 4 times. He used 4 times of humor to explain to readers how did Judy do it. Definitely, the writer read Judy's work. Then he could know how did Judy successfully apply to humor in Judy's essay, right? If you read it carefully, you could know what is since. Since is a keyword. Since, what does since mean? Since means because. Because the text is written to, what audience? Students, single women, right? Since means what? Since means now. Okay. The writer gave out his argument over Judy's work. The same here. Therefore means what? Therefore means the writer is putting out his another argument, right? So the same you could do. when you are writing your critical essay, you could apply to this sample. Okay. Firstly, pick up your topic sentence and then analyze of how did Judy do, and then have your argument, and then another analysis, later another argument, later another analyze, later a quotation. You just follow how did a perfect sample do to make your paper, then you're successful. It's really easy. You don't need to think too much, you know. Now, the writer put out one quotation from Judy's paper. You do the same. Right? And then here is another argument from the writer. The writer thinks the quotation made Judy's text become widely spread all over the internet and in anthologies. Stop here. That's another argument. That is the writer's thinking, right? Later, the writer compared Judy's perfect work with L'Oreal's work. As you have read here, L'Oreal's text can only be found in 3 websites. That's too poor. I feel sad for L'Oreal. That is a comparison. If you have noticed, the writer is compared Judy's work could be found everywhere, while L'Oreal's poor work could be only found in 3 websites. Okay, keep reading. In contrast to, this is another keyword. This is actually an argument. Argument is judgment. Okay, as you have read here. Okay, L'Oreal's work is too serious. What does it mean? It means not humorous at all. So the writer is lower L'Oreal's work while raising up Judy's work, right? Let's keep reading. Which is most likely going to be unappreciated by the audience the text is reading to. What's that? What does it mean? It means the writer regarded L'Oreal's work as poor, unappreciated. In other words, that means not attractive, right? Let's go on. Even from the very first sentence of her text, okay, L'Oreal, because I don't know how to read it, so Limpas, I don't know Limpas or Limpers, so I always read his first name, L'Oreal. Okay, this is what? This is another quotation. If you have noticed, I put it here for you. Until here, right? That's quotation. The writer picked up L'Oreal's quotation. That is quotation from the second text. And then, wow, a great keyword. What is although? Although means it's an argument. It's a judgment from the writer. Right? You know, the writer cannot always say bad words about L'Oreal. It's so impolite. So he wrote something like, although L'Oreal did something good, however, it's still not great enough. Did you notice the whole main body paragraph is around this sentence? How did humor played the important role in 2 authors' writing? What is humor's function? The function is to get people's eyes. Let's go back to our talking here in order. In the thesis, the writer picked up one point humorous. Later, in the topic sentence, the writer explained to readers how did humor work and why it is important. Humor is important because its function, right? It is an explanation of humorous. See? Later, the writer used the whole body paragraph to explain the topic sentence. So it means for all the rest of the paper, the writer did the same thing. Even the structure. You see, I marked a lot of notes here. Okay, you could apply it to the second and the third main body paragraph. It's actually exactly the same because essay is all the same. Let's have a look at the second body paragraph for you to better understand in order issue, okay? As you could see, this is the second body paragraph. The writer tells you how did accessible language important in Judy's work? How did Judy successfully apply to accessible language in her writing, right? This is argument. This is analyze. This is the writer's thinking, while this one is writer's evidence that he picked up from Judy's work. Right? This is argument. This is quotation. This is another argument. Argument. Okay? Argument. Oh, have you noticed? On the other hand, do you think it's very similar, very familiar to us? Because in the first body paragraph, the writer wrote something in contrast. This is his first time to pouring down L'Oreal's work, while this is the second time he pouring down L'Oreal's work. If you read it carefully, this is argument. He is saying some bad words about L'Oreal's work, right? This is quotation, this is argument. Did you find it looks like a hamburger? The same here. Argument, quotation, argument. Did you notice? The writer applied to the same structure at the first body paragraph and the second body paragraph. About the third body paragraph, let's have a quick preview. On the contrary, he is the third time pouring down L'Oreal's work again. Right? Look at the topic sentence here. The writer tells us Judy's work contained the authority which make Judy's work perfect. Do you think it's the same as this one? He's telling us accessible language is important. He's telling us humor is important. The writer is doing the same thing for 3 times. Did you notice? And they are in order. In the thesis, the writer wrote humorous, while the writer wrote humorous at the point 1, while he put humor is important as his topic sentence. The same for the accessible. This is point 2. This is the second body paragraph's topic sentence accessible. He explained to readers why accessible is language in the whole second body paragraph. He did the same thing here. He explained to readers humor is important in the whole body paragraph. Right? The same for the third body paragraph. He said authority is important as his topic sentence. For the third body paragraph, then he used the whole body paragraph to explain why authority is important. Did you see how did the writer successfully to write the thesis in order, and why should the writer write the thesis in order? All right, this is so clear. I think everyone could get it. Thank you so much.